Okay, people, so we're back again. I decided to, fire up the pod again and get actually one of my good friends here. His name is Martin. I always feel that Martin has some very good input. So since I was going to go over a couple like random topics.
It's a lot of pressure.
I figured today you'd be the one to go over these topics with me. 3 days ago, over the weekend, there's this article that for me personally, I think that I want to talk about and get right into it. And the article news headline says, man files lawsuit against jeweler for not selling him promised $109,000 Patek after building up his $222K purchase history. So just to give you a little bit of background about this. So there's a guy in the Bay Area that I guess decided to go in and play the AD game. I'm going to go in, I'm going to walk the hot coals barefoot, whatever they want to do. And this is the truth, man, walk the hot coals barefoot, man. And do whatever it takes to get a 5980 rose gold at retail. Well, apparently, after the guy spent $220,000 worth of who knows what they made him eat, depending on if it was a dedicated Patek boutique.
Some duds.
Yes. Or maybe it was perhaps combined as a jewelry store and they made him take some like legit grenades. Like he had to jump on some grenades there and be the hero. The crazy part is that after a year or something, Rosé soon bought a different gold Patek watch from Shreve for $71,000, the lawsuit claimed. He then picked up another timepiece by the legendary switchmaker for $50K, okay? Then he bought a third one for $47,000. Then finally, after he shelled out $53,000 for a gold and diamond necklace, March of last year, which right there is where they really get you, when they hit you with the jewelry because the margins are bigger, especially if it's like stamped name brand stuff, blah, blah, blah. The salesman assured him they would offer him the promised watch that year, alleged the lawsuit. That offer never came. First of all, I want to go ahead and laugh a little bit. I'm sorry. I think this is hilarious because it happens all the time. You play, you pay. This is a game. There's no guaranteed thing.
They dangle that carrot on him. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, if you wanted to get the watch for sure, then maybe it would have been easier to just get it at the gray market.
Watch Eric.
Well, even if you don't want to call me, there's plenty of people out there. I feel that some of these people play this game and then either one, they lose patience because technically they never told him no. They never said, no, you cannot get the watch. I know people that have played the game at the AD, and when the time came to pick up the watch where they were literally in the boutique picking up the watch, the manager has come out and told them that no, they cannot get that watch.
But that's a good point because they never actually gave him a date that they were going to give it to him, right?
Yeah, they told him that he would get it
eventually
within the next year. And
Gotcha.
I guess that year passed by and, we can have a tantrum when we don't get what we want. And apparently he did. So then now he is suing the AD, which I think is absurd, comical, hilarious, and epic all at the same time. Because I think it's pretty certain that this guy's not going to get in the door in any other AD at this point. Nobody wants to touch this guy with a 10-foot pole. And apparently what he is suing for is he is seeking at least
500,000.
Yeah, I think this is hilarious. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I know some of you are saying like probably this is messed up and blah, blah, blah. But, he is suing a U.S. jeweler that has been around since 1887, became the second U.S. jeweler in the U.S. to represent Patek Philippe, according to the company. So this company has been around for quite some time. They're not suing some brand new mom and pop. Number one, I would love to see if this guy actually wins. I think you mentioned to me that, maybe now it would force them to maybe what? Give him the watch?
Maybe they don't want to go through the bad press or, cut their losses, give the guy what he wants, give him his watch, and maybe avoid that whole issue. I don't know. What do you think?
So his lawsuit accused Shreve of offenses including fraud, false promise, breach of contract, and intentional and negligent misrepresentation. I think on one hand, you're right. Maybe they will just give him the watch and shut him up. I also think if I was the AD in this position, I just wouldn't give him anything because, one, I don't think that there was an actual written contract that says if you buy this, you're going to have that. Okay, this is a game that you're playing and everybody knows it. We know the way it works. If you're not made for this game, then bring out the money and get to watch yourself. On top of that now, he's paying an attorney to do this. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I know that in my line of work, there are certain clients that are a dream to work with. And then there's also complete nightmares. There's people that no matter what you do, you can never make them happy. He's not the only one trying to get this piece. And, maybe they have people ahead of him that's bought $500,000, $1 million, and they're the ones that are getting the watch before him. It's not like they deliver a 5980 rose gold every day of the week over there, or every week for that much.
You never know what like an overzealous salesman might be saying, stringing them along. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see which way it goes.
I also think that this particular AD is probably also going to get some type of backup from headquarters of Patek itself. I also feel that if they allow this guy to win, could you imagine the floodgates that could open of people now suing their ADs?
Absolutely.
I think this is hilarious, man. I'm sorry, but I think this is a movie, and I find it great to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see what happens. I might come up with a couple lawsuits myself. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're in a very tough position, but I'm going to sit there and say that they're going to hold their ground and they're not going to give it to him. So this is probably the first time I've ever heard of this. Maybe there's some other stories that you guys have. I also think that what this guy should do at this point, if you're out there and you're listening, or if anybody knows this guy, send it to him. Just don't be stupid. Sell all the 4 watches that you bought from them, collect the proceeds, and just buy the damn watch in the gray market and get it over with. Because if you couldn't even get this watch and you do get it, I highly doubt you're going to get anyone past this point.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, don't be scared about burning your name at the AD you sued him. So I think you're pretty much burned right now. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was I saw on some random Watch World News that the Louis Vuitton fashion show was yesterday, I believe. And have you seen what Rihanna was wearing on her neck?
I heard you talking about it, but I never actually saw it.
Check this out. Just tell me what you think.
Kind of looks like that thing that people, when they have what's the thing when they get throat cancer?
Oh my God. That bad?
And they talk.
Well, I'm not gonna.
Is that bad? I'm sorry.
That was a very.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay, well, hey, listen. This is an open topic
aggressive?
here. This is an open topic here, and as straight to the point and aggressive as that might sound, that it does have a point.
You know what I mean? That little hole in the cover.
It does have a point. I mean, it does look odd. I mean, I'm a fan of Jacob and what they do. I think they push the envelope, and this is pushing the envelope, and this is like the whole fashion world.
I pushed the envelope with my commentary.
Correct. Exactly. Right on. But I'm not sure. Hey.
No offense to Jacob and Cole, I think.
No, or anybody out there, I guess because it has a black tight strap.
I also don't have my glasses on, so.
Besides the fact that, Martin right now is wearing glasses, he felt it was appropriate. But I also want to say that Martin is one of the few people that I know that wears glasses almost more than I do since the day I met him. So it's not like I influenced him in any way, shape, or form. So it just kind of just happened. But yeah, I mean, I think that besides what you said, I feel like it does look a little bit ridiculous. There's been many different ways to wear a watch, but usually when you wear a watch, you have access to be able to read the time. Whether it's a pocket watch, whether it's hanging off of your neck.
Pretty cool, I guess. I mean, obviously, I don't think I could pull it off, but it's Rihanna, right?
I think usually you'd have a pocket watch, or even that modern version of the Richard Mille pocket watch, which was pretty like radical, you know? Or you have it hanging on a chain, like if you're Flavor Flav, at least he can turn and see the time.
But all that has been done, right?
I saw a video of a guy at a club wearing a Patek, holding his dreads as a scrunchie, and I could understand where it's kind of like a stunt. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to pull a stunt, and yes, we get it. crazy, super expensive Jacob. She's wearing on her neck. I just thought it was stupid, honestly. That's my honest opinion. I thought it was lame. If anybody else felt that way too, you know.
I figured I'd give it a little bit of props after my first comment.
I would have felt better if it didn't say the time and it was just a giant tourbillon in the middle and nothing else.
That's true.
You know, at this point,
you know Jacob and Co, right?
Yeah, no, they're good people, man. I mean, I know Benjamin. Listen, they know what they're
collab, and I think you're onto something.
They know what they're doing. You know, they know that this is exactly it. They got us talking about it. It's radical. Okay, it's not like she was casually having a brunch with her man or her friends and just wearing this like it's normal.
Yeah, it was just the right event.
Yeah, it's the right event to push the envelope, which obviously they're trying to go for shock and awe factor, and shock and awe factor, I think it was.
They achieved that, yeah, for sure.
I think it was kind of lame. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, I found it to be a super interesting article, and it's that I don't know if any of you guys saw the Australian surfer. I'd showed it to you earlier, Martin. Mm-hmm. The Australian surfer that is also an ocean explorer, well, damn, was paddling and enjoying the surf off Noosa when he spotted something unusual. The guy says, there seemed to be a bit of sand that had shifted and exposed more rocks than normal. I found 7 surfboard fins wedged between the rocks. Looking over, I noticed a Rolex Submariner, of course, because it don't matter who you are in the world, you can recognize a Rolex Submariner. Yep. With its band caught under the rock. I found it to be absolutely amazing. Of course, in the picture that they show here, we're going to go ahead and assume that, I don't know, this has to be like an edited photo. I highly doubt that top of that, he whipped out a waterproof camera at that moment, took a picture. But it appears to be a no-date sub, something with the encapsulated, dial markers. And it feels like it's severely corroded all around the bezel area. Mostly looks like the bezel is what's been corroding. And then there's like sand that attached to it and stayed there. Now, it appears to be also like in a nylon NATO strap or something of that nature, which I think was cool, but makes me also wonder if maybe perhaps he would have had it on the bracelet. He would have never lost it, So apparently it got caught on that NATO strap and had been floating there for who knows how much time. The cool part to me was that immediately you could see through the photo that there has been no water inside the case. It's almost like it stayed completely sealed and made it. I think that this is truly a great watch lover story. I mean, when do you get to hear something like this?
It almost seems like it may be staged. He wants to get big money for it. He needed a backstory. I don't know.
That is something that's been actually happening in the last few years with like the auctions and stuff like that. They got these watches and then they create this provenance that doesn't even it's not like entirely correct. And the watches sell for millions of dollars. I mean,
everybody loves a good story, right?
Yeah. I mean, it either has been under the water for a very long time or it was sitting in a Ziploc bag with a lot of salt and water. Because, the one thing that I did realize the second that I saw this picture, and I'm obviously going to have it up so you guys can see it here on this pod, is when you pulled it out of the water, how did so much stuff stay stuck to the case?
Is there any way to even recreate that other than the way
I just said?
Yeah.
I just said put it in a Ziploc bag with salt, a little bit of water as a catalyst, and some sand, and seal it up. Now, my thing is that he says he didn't find it under the sand, where if it was under the sand, then you pull it out, it still has the sand attached to it. Now, I wasn't there. I didn't see exactly how it was lodged. But if it was lodged in an area where there was no longer any sand, and this thing is like open to the water, and you're telling me it's an area where there's surfing happening, where there's a lot of water movement, I'm quite surprised that by this point, all of that ridiculous patina, I mean, if we can even call it patina, hasn't come off. See, now, I didn't even think about this. Now that you said that, it has me totally like, is this real? I don't know. Now I'm really thinking about it. Like,
it'd be interesting to see what the people think in the comments.
Yes. Keep in mind that if we see this watch in any one of these auctions in the next 5 years, I mean, It could happen, but
I wonder how that can be. Who can verify something like that? They actually got their hands on it.
There's really no way to verify. We have to verify.
How about archaeologists?
An archaeologist.
Finally, I mean,
yeah, like a marine archaeologist is the right term.
Actually pronounced.
But I look at things in common sense. His story was that the sand had shifted and now it exposed stuff. Granted, he might have seen just the top part of the case, and when he pulled it out, it was in the sand. But if it had been hooked and it was getting water constantly, I find it hard to believe that all that stuff stuck on there. Either way, however it happens, assuming that it was like legit, okay, I find it super cool. And then again, it also reassures that that's how strong Rolex is. And I wonder how many Rolexes are right now out there somewhere in the beach, somewhere just laying there and probably still watertight.
Maybe I should go out there with a metal detector like those.
But Mark, you would get out there. You would get
old enough yet.
You would. You're not old enough. I think you would get that after the first day.
Another few years, I think I'll be out there. That's something I think you just put away.
Yeah.
Maybe like in a cool case, like a see-through case.
I definitely think
as
that
a conversation piece at home.
Assuming that everything is real and that there is no BS in this story, I think that this watch would actually be worth more just looking like this.
The Smithsonian or something?
Yeah, maybe like rinsed in some fresh water so it doesn't continue to do whatever it's doing and just left just there like that. I mean, because I think once you get this watch and you put a new bezel and you put a new glass and all that, the story's gone.
Yeah, no, definitely want to
The story's gone. And all we have is this picture, which the more I look at it, the more I see it's edited.
What year would you say that is?
Early to mid-90s.
How long would you think it'd be like underwater?
Based on the condition, I would go ahead and just guess. Okay, I'm not a marine archaeologist or whatever. But I would throw a wild guess and say 3 years. I can't see it being longer than 5.
Yeah.
I would say a solid 2 to 3 years for sure. Anybody ever found a watch out there that they lost 10 or 15 years ago? Right. Call me up. I want you sitting on this chair. We want to talk all about how that happened, and
or actually have the guy that found it over here.
Yeah, and then we'll bring Martin over here to ask all the tough questions,
the hard hitting questions. Wouldn't that be cool though to actually interview the guy?
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I would really like to. And then another thing is that I think it'd be nice.
Poke some holes in his story.
Well, I also think it'd be nice to get. It was actually posted by a page, Fratello Watches. I think it'd also be nice to see pictures of the watch. Just normal, not with the whole editing and all that, like at this point, let's get a video of the damn watch. Like, it leaves me with more questions. Like, we need more. Like, can we please see what the back case back looks like and what the crown looks like?
I wonder if there are more pictures circulating out there.
Yeah. like those textures of that brown rust, in my opinion and experience, what usually that is under the bezel. Okay, under the bezel, there's going to be a thin liner, a little metal shim, and the clicker. That is probably going to be the weakest link, in my opinion, to what's going to rust. The insert is made of aluminum. I find it hard to believe that the actual case, it's going to like break down and give that brown rust-looking, traditional color of what rust looks like. But then again, I've never put a Rolex in the water, salt water for that long time to see what happens. But anyways, I found that story super interesting.
Cool story, for sure.
I found that super interesting. And anyways, I'm going to be doing very soon a video about the watch market. I haven't done too many watch market videos lately because, I try to spread them out a couple months. The market has been a little bit stable lately, so there hasn't been much to report, which I guess in that line, no news is good news. I was kind of waiting to see if the new Daytonas and a lot of these new pieces came out. But since we've been able to see a couple of the new pieces, which will include the GMTs, I'm trying to wait maybe a few more days, few more weeks for a couple more watches to come out. And that way I can discuss what I feel is going on with the market and what those watches did to affect the previous models.
How long do you think before you actually hold one of those new Daytonas in your hand?
Which one, though?
The 100.
I want one so bad. That 100 year.
I know you do.
That 24 hours. I mean,
the Le Mans.
I think it's going to be a while. I think that first we're gonna be holding the platinum one in our hands. you know, the guy that debuted it on his wrist in Le Mans, he's like a special guy. Like, it's not just some random guy that sued his AD because
There's
he didn't
no
get the watch in
information
time.
as far as how many they made. They don't really say that, right? Or
No, Rolex
Rolex never
never gives information on what they made, you know. And I mean, I'm thinking about getting on the list and then just filing a lawsuit because I didn't get my bonds. You know what I'm saying? Now that we're there, you know, any lawyers out there want to go in 50-50 with this on me, let me know. But anyways, if you like this video, like and share it. Also, hit the subscribe button and do not forget to comment below what you think about all three of these brand new topics that are right now hitting the newsroom in the watch world. And like and share.